If you look at our career trajectory, it's been very similar, top 10, top 5. I won my title in Jan, he won in Feb. The defense was a month apart, and here we are again. So his brother's making his debut, but like I said, I think he's one of the best fighters in the world right now.
All right. He started sparring him, and he started talking. Watch this.
I do think that's brain damage at its finest, though, because
it's also sparring constantly. Like, Sean spars so much, his distance control is excellent.
Yeah.
It's really good, man.
Well, wasn't he sparring like a couple weeks after Pereira knocked him out?
I'm sure he was.
That's not good.
He's an animal.
Yeah, but a dumb one.
So the guy was talking shit to him back.
I'm ready to die here. And then after he was on Boys with him, gave him $100.
Yeah.
That was funny.
You think he actually does dislike Rikus for some reason, or is he just wants to back you up?
No, dude. I just think he harbors hate. I think Alex is one of those guys, dude, that he's like a bullet. He just point him in the right direction. He goes full send.
Real talk, though, you guys. Me and Dricus, we're gonna try to kill each other for you guys. Dricus, can I get an agreement? Do the math. Do the math. Yes! Respect him for that.
The beef between Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev is not hidden to anyone. Recently, Strickland took a dig at Khamzat Chimaev and used some harsh words for him. Strickland got too offensive and completely mocked the Russian fighter. He told the media that he wanted to talk about Khamzat Chimaev, and after that, Strickland didn't stop and continued to make fun of him during the interview.
We need to talk about Mr. Chimaev. All right, let's talk about this. I keep hearing Chimaev this, Chimaev this, Chimaev that, but what does the history and facts say about Chimaev? And you guys are media, you should know this. Chimaev fled Chechnya with his family because, an oppressive warlord dictator that killed people indiscriminately. No hate on him. It's your country.
Sean Strickland also targeted the homeland of Khamzat Chimaev and made some shocking claims about that. Khamzat also didn't like that at all, and the UFC fans also wanted to make this fight.
He goes back to Chechnya. He goes back to Chechnya because somebody wants to buy him a G-Wagon, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be that whore. I'll do it. I'll the knee for you, man. I like G-Wagons. And then what happens? The leash gets way too tight. And you know what? I think the U.S. government kind of looks at him like a terrorist now. Why? Because people get murdered all the time in Chechnya and they completely violate human rights. So now Chimaev's scared of shit. Oh man, dude, I didn't want to go full tip. Now he flees to somewhere in the sand pit. And now he's hiding out in the sand pit.
Strickland even accused the Russian fighter of some kind of a Bitcoin scam. The former champion said that Khamzat Chimaev is a scammer, and he scams all of his fans. Strickland was shocked to know why a popular UFC fighter was scamming his fans. Sean Strickland said now he's hiding out, and now what does he do? He has a Bitcoin scam, and he scams all of his fans. Let me tell you something, I had the same Bitcoin scam offered to me. It was like $100,000 to $200,000. I was like, you, dude. I'm not gonna scam my fans. I don't need money that bad. But that's what Chimaev did. Strickland not only made fun of the fighting style of Khamzat, but also mocked the nationality of Chimaev. The fans think that the former champion might have gone a bit too far, but Strickland believes that he has said the right thing.
Yeah, Chimaev, you can fight. You can fight. You got a beard. But let history record it as you, sir, are a whore. You fled a country, you went back and you got buddy-buddy with a dictator and you fled again. Doesn't matter how good of a fighter you are and will always be a. That's a good one, right? Clip that, send, post.
Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev also gave a solid response to the recent statements of the former champion Sean Strickland. He shared a picture of Strickland with the following text: "Why are you baby crying all the time? Father didn't give you love, or he showed his love to you too much." Du Plessis will defend his middleweight title against Sean Strickland in a rematch at UFC 312. This event will take place at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. Recently, the light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira and middleweight champion Du Plessis expressed interest in fighting each other. Pereira is even willing to lose weight and drop back down to middleweight. However, whether this fight happens or not, Du Plessis couldn't help but laud Pereira for his remarkable achievements. Du Plessis told Mark Boris, "I think he is one of the greatest combat athletes to ever live. He is a phenomenal athlete. To go in a short period of time from a different sport, and not just a different sport, kickboxing, which is not a great base for MMA. It helps, but if that's the only thing you know, not a great base if you're going to go up against these wrestling guys. He came in and just went through everyone after being one of the greatest K1 kickboxers to ever live." Du Plessis said that he has a huge respect for Pereira and his contributions to the sport. According to the South African fighter, Pereira is possibly the best fighter in the world right now, and he has earned that reputation with his hard work and unbelievable training. Du Plessis said, "I have the world's respect for him as a fighter, as a person even, I think. We are rivals, but I have the utmost respect for what he's achieved in the sport, and he's truly one of the GOATs to ever not do MMA or in the UFC in combat sports. I think probably the most achieved combat sports athlete the world's ever seen." Moreover, Alex Pereira would be on Sean Strickland's side for his upcoming fight against Du Plessis. The South African fighter was a huge fan of Alex Pereira, but unfortunately, he would see him on his opponent's side. Recently, Alex Pereira shared a video where he was seen along with Sean Strickland, confirming who he is supporting.
Chama! Let's get it. Let's get it. Chama!
Sean Strickland also shared how he feels to have a legend like Alex Pereira on his side. Sean knows that Pereira doesn't know how to speak in English, so he is confident to get a solution for that as well.
Pereira in your corner again, baby. He can't speak English though, man. What's he gonna say to you?
Alex is just a good dude. You know, mind you, the guy knocked me out, so hey, you, Alex, you big you scary ass Brazilian. But he's just a good dude, man. I like the guy. We'll be banging fight week. It'll be nice.
What's he gonna say to you though? Just chama?
Chama!
Strickland respects Alex Pereira for picking his corner. He also reveals why Pereira wants to be in his corner. He said that the light heavyweight champion has everything he wants in his life, but he is still down to earth and treats everyone equally.
Why does Alex Pereira hate him so much to fly down here during a training camp and corner you?
You know, man, Alex, and let me tell you something about Alex, which I respect the most about. You know, Alex has all the money. He came to America, the land of free. He's not going to get robbed in the fucking, Rio. Well, he might, but he has no reason not to be happy. You know, he should be happy, he gets all the women, has all the sports car, but he harbors so much hate in his heart, and a part of me respects that because, it takes a real man to not become soft because money. And Alex just harbors the hate. So, hey, I respect you, Alex.
Dricus Du Plessis elaborated on his fighting experience with Strickland and how he learned about his skills in the final rounds. In a recent interview with TalkSport, the Proteas fighter spoke about his growing confidence in the third round, where he believes that his opponent started to realize that he wasn't going anywhere. The championship rounds were always going to be pivotal, and the challenger ended up winning the fourth on all three scorecards, despite all of the talk around him gassing out in previous fights. Du Plessis stated, "When the fourth round came around, this is the first time in my whole career I go to a fourth round. I felt like I was on a cloud. I felt invincible. I felt fresher than I did before the fight started. I thought, now we can fight, and that fourth round was by far my best round." Du Plessis' cardio was also on song in his maiden title defense against the former champion Israel Adesanya, where once again the fourth round proved to be decisive as he defeated his opponent via submission at UFC 305. The middleweight champion is now confident that he can match anyone's skills and pace. Du Plessis added, "I had to prove to the world, to myself, that I can go 5 rounds and go as hard as I can for 5 rounds. Alexander Volkanovski responds to Ilia Topuria wanting to fight Islam Makhachev. Alexander Volkanovski has reacted to the recent talks about Ilia Topuria wanting to fight the lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. However, Ilia Topuria is more likely to have a fight against Alexander Volkanovski. He had an impromptu face-off with Volkanovski, hinting that the two could possibly have a rematch. However, despite all signs having led to a rematch between Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria, El Matador has once again hinted that he may potentially move up to lightweight for his upcoming bouts, where he wants to beat Islam and become a double title holder. Topuria told Main Event TV, We'll see what's gonna happen. Me personally, what I want to do is to move up to 155 pounds because I know by fact that I can become a 2-weight world champion. Moreover, Topuria knows that it won't be as easy as it sounds because the Dagestani fighter is not an easy opponent. Islam Makhachev has almost cleaned his division and is planning to move up as well. So this shows how much greater a challenge it would be for Topuria to face Islam. Ilia Topuria added, Islam is a great fighter. He is #1 pound for pound. So I know that I can do with him whatever I want to do with him because I know that I'm much better than him. Another reason why Topuria would like to move up a weight class is because he thinks a rematch against Alexander would go the same way their first fight went. Ilia Topuria said, I don't want to do it again because I like Volk and I know what's gonna happen if we face each other again. Of course it's the same thing. Maybe the next time, instead of knocking him out, I will submit him to have different types of clips. Meanwhile, Alexander Volkanovski has also responded to Topuria's desire to move up to face Islam Makhachev. The Australian MMA fighter believes that the UFC would make this fight possible. He said that he wants to win the title no matter who is up against him.
I ran into Ilya earlier, had a bit of a chat about what's potentially next for him. He expressed his desire right now to move up to 155 pounds to fight Islam Makhachev. What are your thoughts on that?
We've got a date that we want, you know, they know I want to fight. They want me to fight. They want me to fight for the belt. But we just, you know, maybe they're trying to organise something. I think they've got to see what's going on. You heard it from him. But if not, you know, I'll fight whoever for that belt.
Alexander Volkanovski further added that he doesn't want to come in between someone else's dream. The Australian also had previously tried to become a double champion, but this time he believes that his confidence is sky high, which would help him to achieve his target. Volkanovski said, of course, I don't want to get in the way of someone's dreams. I want that fight, so it's gonna suck because I'd love that, but that's just if the UFC wants it and he's pushing for it and they can make that happen, then good on him, but if they can't make it happen, stop wasting time. A video of Diego Lopes practicing hard for his upcoming fights is getting viral where he was training with Alex Pereira in Sydney. The fans have also loved this collaboration of these two talented fighters in this video. On the other hand, the UFC legend gave his response to the knockout defeat of Israel Adesanya. Adesanya lost his bout, and most of the fans believe that Israel Adesanya is finished, and it won't be easy for him to make a comeback. Israel has already cemented his place as one of the best fighters in the world. UFC legend Matt Brown thinks that Adesanya would need to get out of his skin and put in some extra effort to claim the title again. Matt Brown explained on the latest episode of The Fighter vs. The Writer, he's gotta be thirsty again. He's got to go back to getting up at 5 a.m. on your silk sheets and not going out on Saturday night. You've got to go back to those things you did as a youth. That's a hard thing to do. It's not easy. He's comfortable. He's had an amazing career. That's hard to forget all that and go back to training, going back to those day one things. Matt Brown also shared what should be the retirement plans of Adesanya. According to Brown, if the former champion is not going to manage to win the title again, then he should think about retiring from UFC. Matt Brown added, should he retire? I think that's the big question. Obviously that's going to be up to himself, but I would have to agree that he's probably not getting back to title fights anytime soon. Probably never again. Furthermore, Dricus du Plessis writes off Israel Adesanya as a title contender as he thinks that the former champion has passed his prime. Du Plessis said that the peak days of Adesanya are gone and he has left a legacy behind him. The South African believes that the former champion can take as many fights as possible to satisfy himself, but he can't run away from the reality that the prime Adesanya would never come back now.
Yeah, Rob can, at his age, can make another run for it. I think he has another run left in him, 100%. And with Poezy, I don't think there's another title run. With all due respect, I think his legacy is cemented and will always be there. And whatever he feels like doing, he can do. I put him in the same category as Anderson Silva at this stage of lose as many fights as you want. You'll always have your legacy. Anderson Silva, after when his reign ended, Now, I didn't care how many times he lost. He was still my GOAT. He was still the greatest middleweight of all time. And I feel Izzy is in that area where whatever he decides to do, take super fights here, there. If you want to, if you still have the passion for it. If you've lost the passion, you have the money, you have everything, don't do it anymore.
Well, this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have loved it. Share your thoughts on this news in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and make sure to press the bell icon.